So thank you, Marco, thank you, Noah, for having us here on stage. I am David Sola, director at Caixa Capital Risc, a multi-stage venture capital firm based in Barcelona with a strong focus on B2B and deep tech projects. We've been on the market for around 15 years in Spain. This is almost the entire Spanish VC history. And I am really pleased to be here with Xavier Palomer, co-founder of Amelia Virtual Care, one of our portfolio companies. Hi, Xavier.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
And yeah, I was talking with him, not like for me as an investor, I think a big part of working in a venture capital, one of the greatest parts is having the chance to see firsthand how great opportunities become great projects. And now and again, sometimes we find ourselves in front of projects that, besides having a disruptive technology, having a great team, having scalability, and all the ingredients we are looking for where we are investing, they also have a vision to make this a better world by generating a positive impact on society. And Amelia is one of them, thanks to its virtual reality platform for mental health professionals. So Xavier, just to start, I want to, starting from the beginning, how did the idea of Amelia come about?
So just to remember what we do, we have a virtual reality platform for mental health professionals. So the idea is to use the virtual reality technology and the virtual reality simulation, if you want, to expose patients to situations that makes them, have a bad reaction. Okay, so I mean, virtual reality has been around for a very long time, believe it or not, late 80s, beginning of 90s, so a very long time. And what we do at Amelia is bring all this know-how, all this scientifically validated technology to a market-ready product. So we are a company that is commercializing this virtual reality solution for the mental health professionals. And where this comes from? As you can notice from my accent, I'm from Barcelona, Spain, but lucky enough, I got some funding to go to the US to do my master's, then PhD. But at some point, I decided that I wanted to start a company, not finish the PhD, and I came back to Barcelona. And one day, having a beer with two friends, one of them was afraid of flying, so he couldn't take a plane. The other one was a psychologist, and he mentioned how VR could be used to address these mental health problems. And for me, that was like, wow, what is this about, right? And I did my master's and PhD in biomedical engineering, I was designing antennas for biomedical applications, super interesting project, but long story short, using technology in healthcare and actually in a problem such as mental health, which is a huge, huge problem, for me was how this very well-known technology with a very strong clinical validation cannot be already today, that was back in 2013, cannot be in the market. And this is, for me, this was an opportunity. So we decided to step up and try to partner with top research institutions on the world to bring this already validated clinical product to a market ready, to help real patients in the real world. This is when the company was founded.
Thank you, Xavier. So you talk about virtual reality and traditional mental health professionals, no? We are aware maybe of traditional approaches to treatment, to mental illness treatment like psychotherapy, like medication, support groups. But now these professionals face a new tool that includes hardware, that includes software. How did they perceive it at the beginning?
Very good question as well. I mean, as any new technology out there, you need to start, reaching out to innovators, early adopters, I mean, you name it. Good news about virtual reality is that, as I said, this technology has been around for a very long time. So if you have studied psychology, psychiatry, any kind of mental health related bachelor degree, you probably have heard about virtual reality and how this technology could be used to treat mental health, right? So although, yeah, at the beginning we needed to target this early adopter group, reality is that today most of the mental health professionals more or less are aware of how VR could be used, right? So that's a huge advantage for us, right? Although we are, I think, really innovating in the space and bringing a new tool, a complement to what you said, drugs, psychotherapy, etc. although we are bringing a completely new approach to this, is not completely new for them because they already know it, right? So our go-to-market, I'd say, is easier than any other breakthrough technology, right?
Okay, they are aware now, and I think that maybe something that makes it easier to approach these professionals is that you are not changing the way they work, you are complementing it, no? You were mentioning?
That's exactly right. At the end of the day, I mean, let me try to explain it in like 2 words. At the end of the day, what we do is expose people to different situations, right? So they get used to that. You probably drive a car. The first day that you drive a car, it's impossible. You get anxiety, sweatness, etc., right? And today you drive without even knowing it, how to do it, right? So this is exposure therapy for training purposes. So we do a similar approach. We expose people to that situation over and over again, so they get used to that. So they learn how to drive. In our case, not learn how to drive, but is to overcome anxiety, stress, depression, pain, eating disorders, a very broad range of mental health conditions, right? So what I'm trying to say is that we use a psychotherapeutic technique called exposure, which is very well known. It's widely used, one of the most used psychotherapeutic technique. VR is just a very well-suited technology to be used with exposure therapy, nothing else.
Great, thank you. And something worth mentioning, I think that you and I, we come from Barcelona, also our project, your company, my venture capital, and something that makes you a bit different from the majority of companies we are investors in is that usually you start your product market fit on a specific market, then you start to grow usually to the closest markets that you have in Europe, but you, from the very beginning, you started in the United States, to approach the United States. Why did this happen, and how do you approach such a huge market?
It's true that coming from Barcelona, I mean, in Barcelona you have plenty of opportunities, even investors, and the VC community has, really matured lately. Lots of talent, etc., etc. But in our specific case, mental health, the market in Spain, even in Europe, is not as ready as it is in the US, right? Meaning that for us it was way easier to go directly to the US than staying in Europe, although still Europe is our local home market and we have significant amount of the revenues being generated in Europe. But our main market is the US because it's way more mature. You have different stakeholders, more interest even for patients, people like us, like me, like you, that suffer mental health conditions. We all suffer stress, we all suffer anxiety, and don't lie to me. I know that you run funds, you run startups, and that's complicated. So you probably have stress, you probably have nights that you don't sleep very well, right? So, but in Europe, we don't like to share that. And in the US, people are more open to target these problems and to seek for help, right? That's from the patient side, also from the pure business model side. At the end, we are a for-profit organization, so we need to generate revenues, and in Europe, it's complicated to generate revenues in digital health. So mainly, the most successful digital health companies from Europe have launched in the US or have expanded into the US, right? So we saw that since day one, and today the US is 60+% of our revenues. We have a top management in there. We have top institutions such as the veteran administrations, the militaries, working with us in the US. So very, very proud that from Barcelona, where we can attract very interesting talent, investors, etc., but we do not stay locally. We expand internationally, so super proud of that.
We too, because usually, as a local investor in Spain, when you talk about going to the United States, usually it means a lot of money, usually more than you expect, usually you're optimistic, so very proud about it too. And just to finish, I want to mention also, at the beginning I mentioned how becoming a part of an impact project brings a special purpose, a special meaning to our job as investors. With Amelia, I want to mention also that supporting a company that comes from Barcelona, as we do, is something that makes also, for us, is something that makes us very proud. Because at the end, it's another sign of a growing ecosystem capable of bringing local projects to a global scale. But well, the journey doesn't stop here. Xavier has a lot of things to do on his mind. He has a clear roadmap and a clear vision, so we will be more than happy to share it with the amazing investors here attending at NOAH. Thank you all.
Thank you.